Iavalangam, Iavalangam, Ivalamosia. Iavalangam, Iavalangam, Ivalamosia. Iavalangam, 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 Ivalamosia. Iong ake puikam, iong mata puikam, Isaiah, ya akoi Maria, Aivalamosia, Iavalangam.
It's always a great pleasure to bring faculty out to the Southwest. I've worked here for about 15 years, and it's always fascinating to see what particular area is very meaningful to them. It is particularly important, I feel, because as I talk to our faculty who've come out this time, we could kind of come to the conclusion that it's really unethical to move into a community and provide a service without understanding that community. In fact, it's no service at all.
In preparation for this trip, I've met with Professor O'Neill several times, and she's wonderful at telling stories as well as telling the history, trying to get me prepared for what I would see when I came out here. That was basically our way of trying to prepare ourselves to come here. I found that was very helpful, and I loved reading about it and hearing her. But it's nothing like being here and experiencing it.
This is part of the richness of Aviquime, Sacred Mountain, and I think no matter, again, how much you talk about it, until you come, walk on the soil, and feel the kind of the atmosphere, the dry air, you never quite get exactly what it's like.
You definitely have to be here.
Yes, and experience it for
experience
yourself.
it. You can read about it or listen to you or other people, but to be here makes a huge difference.
And I think I mentioned that the people have come from tribes around, really 100 miles to come here and experience Aviquime.
Questions have been asked in terms of what is it that you really want to accomplish. I must say that oftentimes the teachers themselves shape what they want to accomplish. And it's amazing how they kind of just hone in on the particular area that's going to be most fruitful for themselves and their students. The goal then was to really involve them as much as you could in the culture itself, despite whatever the theme of their work was going to be and what students they were going to bring out. The more knowledge they have about that perspective culture is the most important part of our striving as we bring them out. So when I bring out people, as we brought out this time, two people from dental hygiene, I was quite fascinated to watch how it evolved over time and what their impressions were.
My experience in training for coming out here and being part of this experience has been through Dr. O'Neill. I've traveled with her prior to coming with dental hygiene students and really learned a great deal of the culture just by traveling with her students and experiencing both life in hogans, some of the crafts and artwork that they do. So this experience now bringing dental hygiene faculty with myself and Fran has allowed us to extend that training to other faculty.
As you know, too, after a lot of preparation, we're about to begin the ceremony on the rededication of the mountain soil bundle, a form of healing that is very different from what we used to in the West, in the East, excuse me. I find it very compatible because I'm able, obviously, to go to doctors back home and at the same time, really appreciate what the Navajo people can offer us as well. The blessing is for you, as well as for me, but you'll see a lot of focus on me and the medicine bundle. I'll be the one that's purified, for example, and I suppose if we were to look at it, maybe it means that in order for the medicine bundle to work for other people, I have to be in pretty good shape. I don't know whether doctors generally have to do that back east.
I think there's recognition that a lot of healing is not just medicine, but it's our internal thought processes and harmony. You and I have talked about this before. You know, it's too, even we're educators, we're health educators, so it's not just performing certain tasks, it's also educating people how to stay healthy. And I think, you know, mentally being healthy is as important as being physically healthy.
Yes.
And part of the ceremony, as you explained, is harmony.
Yeah.
And I think having personal harmony relieves stress and makes us all healthier.
One of the things that we really discussed is the ethics of the whole situation. For example, even though I think every group wants more health care, and we feel that health care, of course, is important for all, and the reservations especially needed. The ethics of it is, should we actually even come in and treat people without giving them some background in the culture? And so this was my sense, and even as we talked to the dental hygiene instructors, was that they too felt that it was really lacking in ethical consideration to do that.
Ready to go in now?
We're ready.
Okay, all right, okay, let's go.
We spent most of our time, in fact, on the trip in the Navajo Reservation. I think for them, it was the spiritual element, the beautiful ceremonies, and the spiritual quality of the land itself. We were able to go into the Hogan, which is probably the central place of all Navajo family life and spiritual life. And in this case, not only did they see a Hogan used in a family style, but they also saw the Hogan used as a spiritual place. They were very fortunate to have an experience with the Blessing Way ceremony, and even though we were not able to tape it, that never didn't make the experience any less deep. And they both of the faculty were very much influenced by seeing a medicine man, seeing the alternative way of medicine that he utilized. The other one was the experience of going down into Monument Valley, which is considered a sacred place by the Navajo, and the mystical quality of that. They also experienced a weaver, a wonderful Navajo rug weaver, so that they felt that it was a complete, even though it seems as though when we describe it, there is not a lot going on, they felt it was extremely complete experience, and that they were able to have a wonderful knowledge that they could never have had otherwise. The Zuni Reservation had a whole other lesson to teach them, and that was the wonderful arts of the Zuni. You know, you can't actually talk about the arts without talking about their religion, but they had the leadership and guidance of Alex Theodewa, an internationally renowned painter, and the beautiful kachinas. They call it the Sistine Chapel of the West, and they were able to go into that chapel and see what was going on with the huge kachinas, and we were able to go back into his home. And then finally, the highly artistic quality of the pottery here.
I've been doing pottery since I was probably 13 years old. My great-grandmother was the first BIA pottery teacher here in Zuni back in the 1920s. And then as a child, I was always drawn to pottery for some reason. No matter where I saw pottery, I had to go see it. And as a child, I used
Tonight, I was really enlightened by what Eileen said about her artwork and all of the work that went into what she does. And the fact that she does everything, whereas some other people may buy paints, and all of hers comes from just the old way of doing things with heirlooms passed down, things like that. So without having the opportunity to go to both places, I wouldn't have known the differences between these cultures. I could read about them, but nowhere could I really understand them as I do now. I would like to have more opportunity to spend more time and really understand them, and I think the students would also.
I know personally, since I've been taking these trips, not only with the dental hygiene students, but with the students in the Native American Studies program at the college, that I've grown immensely. I've come to really appreciate some of the artistic work they do with jewelry and basket weaving, and come to understand, that life isn't always in the fast lane, and that there's a life that other people live that is very fulfilling in a very quiet, remote place in our own country.
So I think if we were to say what is it they learned and what was the most valuable part of all of these 3 reservations, I would say it was the immersion quality that they experienced, that they were not just not observers, but they participated. They gained a greater knowledge of what was going on with that society, and I don't think any of them will ever forget it.